we are Goodbye World, and here we present our prototype, Dave, which is a app that allows users to scan their code base and do things about it. So next will be a brief introduction of our team, and next will be the pain points most developers are met with, which is documentation, where it is a burden. Reading the documentation is very inefficient, and in very fast-changing systems, the documentations are constantly outdated. It's seen as repetitive and very unrewarding. Users spend an excessive amount of time scrolling through and to search for simple answers, and documentations written yesterday can be changed today. Next, we will be showing solutions to tackle these challenges. What Dave does is it will scan the code base and you can do certain things about it, where it is able to generate a starter documentation. And for that documentation, it is also able to give a very brief summarization. And once it analyzes the code base, you can ask questions to Dave about certain things such as what this method does or how this method will route to the API, for example. And it will also analyze any old documentation and give a suggestion for you to change the certain part of it. And next would be a small features that Dave currently has, the semantic search engine. And it will also generate a very comprehensive and structured API reference from the code. It also supports version control, which allows users to track changes to the documentation, and they are able to recall the previous versions and compare any differences that they have. Next will be a live demonstration of Dave.
Okay, so currently we are having the Spring Boot app, which is a to-do app. Let's start the server of Dave. We are building Dave prototype using Express.js. And the first thing we are going to do is to connect to GitHub repo. You can see it successfully connected, and it also creates a webhook where we can see it here. After we refresh, the webhook exists. Then we are going to generate starter doc by calling this API. The main thing of this app is that when we are generating the starter doc, we are actually using the REST API. When there is a commit changes to the code or any pull requests merge into the main branch, and then it's going to call the webhook we created just now. So now it's going to retrieve the meaningful or relevant context of the code and then feed it into our Gemini API. And then yeah, you can see it's going to reply us with the components, like what is the type of the components and what is the content in the component. And this is sufficient for us to handle it at our Dave front end in future. So next, let's move on to UI prototype.
Firstly, users will be requested to sign in with their GitHub account where they'll gain access next. A list of public repository will be shown to the user, or they can also choose to upload their private repository. So for this, we'll choose the to-do list app next. A starter documentation will be generated where users can later edit to fit their own layout and needs. And of course, there is a search overlay where users can look up key points within the documentation and Dave will bring the user to the specific parts. Next, and here you can see, as the previous mentioned, the headings and description will be fit within their own layout. And we can notice that there is an exclamation mark within the API endpoints in the documentation section. Then click on it and next. The system will then show what are the changes made to the part of the documentation, and they will be highlighted. So the users can choose to accept the changes or edit within the field text below. Here is the AI chatbot where users can ask Dave questions such as summarization of the documentation, and a canvas will be generated in the middle of this page, so users can have a summarized answer and read it with ease.
Yeah, so now we are going to look at what was the potential of Dave and how it would be if we are designing it using an industrial level architecture. So the main point of Dave is to develop a highly scalable, resilient, and also an intelligent platform. The core philosophy of our architecture is based on microservice architecture and also event-driven backbone, which is supported by Apache Kafka. And we can see on the left, we are having a command path, and on the right, we are having a query path. So basically, everything happens after the starter doc generated. It's going to wait for the event to happen, which is that when a new code is merged into the main branch and the webhook will be fired. So when the webhook fired, it's going to consume into Apache Kafka, where the topic is the code commit received, and it's going to emit the analysis orchestrator service and go through this whole ingestion pipeline. And then all this code will be indexed and stored in the vector database Malvis. These are the same, where the queries using the doc generation service or chatbot QA service is also going to store in the Malvis database. This code is going to send to our LLM, and LLM is going to send the JSON to our front end to handle to become our UI.
So why choose Dave? Dave uses AI for summaries and interactive Q&A. It keeps documents synced with your code base and has a user-focused design to cut onboarding time. Our target market is ideally for small to medium teams with growth opportunities in open source projects and the wider enterprise market. That is all from us. Thank you.